Welcome back to Forgotten Hollywood. John Wayne is one of the most recognizable names in Hollywood history. Between Stagecoach, I Love Lucy, True Grit, and Billy Idol, it's hard to find someone who hasn't at least heard of the man. Yet, not as many know how he died. While he passed in 1979, and the official cause of death was lung cancer, there is reason to believe that the death blow actually came decades earlier in the desert while filming the worst movie he ever made. The Conqueror was released in 1956, and the script for it was written by an English screenwriter named Oscar Millard. The part was originally written for Marlon Brando. He decided he didn't really want to do it, so he backed out. And then John Wayne had a 3-picture deal with RKO and was going through scripts to figure out what he wanted the last one to be, and he came across that, and he liked it. And the director goes, "Really?" But he didn't want to argue with John Wayne, so they made the movie. To say that the movie had poor casting is a massive understatement. John Wayne seemed to try to play the role like he would any other cowboy role, except they're all talking like it's the 12th century and dressing like they're in Mongolia. It was, odd. Also, when I was looking at the cast, I was realizing that most of the people were guys that I had seen in westerns. One guy I recognized from Hogan's Heroes. They were kind of all out of their regular element, with the exception of one. Angus Moorhead played the mother of Temujin, who was John Wayne's character, the real name of Genghis Khan. She was the only believable character in the entire movie. She was consistent. She put heart into the role. Everyone else kind of phoned it in, but she really understood the assignment. Out of curiosity, I looked it up and found out that she was actually the only one with a history of stage acting and a background in Shakespeare. And I thought, oh, that's why she can play 12th century. Okay. Now, this isn't to say that John Wayne is a bad actor. He's fine. He's good. But there are certain roles that he does very well in. And it's not every role. There are actors who can play anything. Look at the filmographies of Dustin Hoffman, Johnny Depp, Hugh Jackman. There are actors that have huge range. There are other actors that don't, and that's okay. If they can pull off those roles really well, fantastic. But don't ask Arnold Schwarzenegger to play Hamlet. The other one who was completely inconsistent to me was Susan Hayward. She plays Bowtie, the wife of Genghis Khan. Except they completely changed history here by having her be the daughter of an enemy who killed Genghis Khan's father, and he is obsessed with her, and so he wants her, and she doesn't want to be with him because he's an enemy, and all sorts of stuff. But she kind of changes based on the scene between being intrigued / in love with Temujin to possibly trying to kill Temujin. In some scenes she looks terrified. In other scenes she has lots of confidence. And I just really couldn't figure out if she was going for damsel in distress or strong female or willing captive. I really wasn't sure what she was doing. It just sort of added to the disjointedness of the whole picture. The ending of the movie is unique to me because in the final battle sequence, I remember thinking 2 things. First, can they get on with it? Second, that was it? How they were able to make a scene that was both too long and too rushed at the same time is interesting. But the movie builds up to the big climactic face-off between John Wayne's Temujin and the enemy chieftain Kumlik, who was played by Ted DeCorsia. The two of them go head-to-head battle, and there wasn't any battle. There was a battle. There was a battle between the forces of Temujin and the enemy tribe, but when Temujin chased down Kumlik for what most people think would be the climactic duel of the movie, he pulled him off his horse, stabbed him in the heart, and one and done. Thus the movie ends on a happy note, because Now he's the undisputed ruler of everything. Call me crazy, but I much prefer the ending duels in other epic movies that are far more epic, even though they were never called epics. Now, the real problem with this movie was that the filming location was only 137 miles downwind of a nuclear testing site that had been active as soon as a year prior, with 11 tests over that time. And then a year later, they start filming, and the government goes, oh, no, it's fine, sure, go ahead, you're good, you're safe. John Wayne's Geiger counter said differently, but to add to this, Howard Hughes actually trucked tons of this radioactive dirt to the studio for reshoots, thus extending the exposure for the poor cast and crew. And of the 220 members of the cast and crew, 91 developed cancer, and of them, 46 died. Howard Hughes called the filming location his biggest regret, and didn't actually make another film after that, with the exception of Jet Pilot, but that had wrapped filming in 1953, and Hughes was just tinkering with it until its release in 1957. But he did not set out to make any more films. And, well, at the time they said it was safe. They swore it was safe. The government said, no, you're good. After John Wayne died in 1979, the Pentagon kind of admitted that it wasn't safe. But here's the problem for me. To attribute this film as the cause of death of John Wayne is overlooking something really important. Hollywood. The entire culture of Hollywood was toxic. Smoking and drinking were a huge part of both their parties and their movies. I can't tell you how many actors I've read about that were smoking 2 to 5 packs a day. It was just what they did. It was very common. It was popular and everyone did it. And then on top of that, the studios had this bad habit of prescribing prescription drugs to their actors for anything. Oh, you hurt yourself on set, here's a painkiller. Oh, you're tired, here's an amphetamine. Oh, you're not able to sleep, here's a sedative. It was so bad. You have stories like Judy Garland, who became addicted because of all the pills that she was given and tragically OD'd at the age of 47. And if that wasn't enough, the makeup and props that they used were also toxic. Going back to Judy Garland, the snow used in Wizard of Oz was made of asbestos. The makeup had lead, and all these things put together made Hollywood a very unhealthy environment for anyone. It's little wonder that the cancer rates in Hollywood are so high. In summary, do I think this film is the smoking gun that killed John Wayne? No, I think his actual smoking of 4 packs a day is the better indicator of that. Do I think that it contributed to his death and the deaths of others on the set? Yes. I think that the radiation weakened their bodies, made them more susceptible to all the other toxic stuff that was in their life, and that's what ultimately ended them. Because the thing is, cancer isn't a simple disease. It doesn't just have one trigger, one cause. Because if it did, they'd be able to block it. There are a lot of factors to consider, and no matter how bad this film was, it was probably not as lethal as the rumors say. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on the environment of Hollywood? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, and I will catch up with you next time.